Hi guys, glad you came back for another class. This will be our series finale tonight, and I kind of think we saved the best for last. So I'm Becky Hutchings, University of Idaho, Extension Educator, sous chef for tonight. This is my oldest son. His name is Roy. He just got his driver's permit today. He's getting his Eagle Scout on Friday, so he's got a pretty big week coming up this week. And just caution all of you guys that are local to stay off the roads and the sidewalks because they'll be driving pretty soon. So, and then I also want to introduce again, my husband David is doing the technology stuff. So hopefully you guys can hear us. Just so you know, the camera on the Zoom screen is actually showing things in reverse. So like when these pots say hot, it will show it to you in reverse. So I don't know if you can see that right now or not. But just keep that in mind, okay? We are live from my house and somebody just called. So we do live here. So we are gonna get a few little interruptions like that. But we're all friends. We can all be here together, right? So I think that's all in terms of housekeeping things. If you guys please could write in the chat where you're all from, I would love that so I could have an idea of where you're all from. Also, please feel free that if you have a question to unmute yourself and ask the question, you can type it in. We're still new at this, so we're still trying to figure out all these new bells and whistles. So if we miss your question, please feel free to unmute and then ask it, okay? Okay, and with that, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So you're actually getting two recipes tonight. When Roy found out that we were doing soup, he really wanted to show you guys how he makes his healthy ramen. And we eat this is like a weekly staple in our house. We eat it all the time, and I have to double the recipe, and even that they gobble up really quick. Both recipes tonight are really excellent. I don't want you to think I like one more than the other, but I know Roy likes one more than the other. So we're gonna go ahead and he's gonna get started by washing his hands, and I've already washed my hands. But then when he is done, I already put this on saute, and if you remember, we have to wait until it's flirting with us, and it says hot, okay, which is where we're at. We're gonna come to our chicken. I've used chicken tenders and chicken breasts. I've used thighs. You just boneless, skinless thighs, and I like all of them. My only thing is with the chicken tenders, sometimes you get that little tendon, and that grosses me out. So I try to stick with either the breast or the thighs. If you use boneless, skinless thighs, that's perfect. Just instead of doing about 10 minutes, depending on the size of the thighs, I would do about 8. But make sure that you're checking the temperature to make sure that they're getting up to 165 so your food's safe. So Roy is going to go ahead and he's going to salt and pepper the chicken. Say hi to everyone, Roy. Hello. He does talk. So, okay, I'll do the pepper. You do the salt. Hold it up here. And all we're going to do is we're going to brown. We don't want to cook the chicken because we're going to put it under pressure after this. But all we want to do is brown the sides. Now, if you are in a hurry, you don't have to do this. It's just kind of adds extra flavor, okay? So, Roy's going to go ahead and he's going to put that in. And then he's going to salt and pepper the other side. So he's going to put the salt and pepper side down. There you go. Oh, we forgot the oil. Sorry, guys. There's our olive oil. Okay. Only room for 2. Okay, so now he's going to go ahead and salt and pepper the top. There you go. And I'm going to let Roy kind of saute that. While he's doing that, I think we can come over here and I will show you how to make the tomato tortellini soup. I thought it would be kind of fun to do it in our Presto, just so you guys could see how that works. Okay, for this one, here's my chicken broth. This is an awesome, really quick. I will be done, and this will be under pressure by the time he's probably just done the one side to saute those. So this is great. So here's our chicken broth. Okay. And this is about 4.5, 5 cups, because I don't want to have any leftover of the tortellini. So this is frozen cheese tortellini. Okay. And then this is crushed tomatoes. Now, I am going to actually stir this right now. If you want to get in there and see that. So this is stirred. The reason I'm going to do this now is because when I add this tomato, I do not want to stir this. Does anybody know why I wouldn't want to stir that? Anybody on mute? Anybody
Mary
know?
says burn.
Yes. So because the sugars, natural sugars in these tomatoes, if they get on the bottom, because your heating element is on the bottom, then you can get a burn message. So when you're doing, let's say you're doing a 1 pot of spaghetti, your recipe's going to say not to stir. That's why. Okay? Okay. Then I'm going to add, this is our garlic. And then this is our salt, pepper, and then I chopped up some basil. It smells delicious. You can use dried basil if you, because you know, fresh is a little more expensive, but I do like the taste of it. But if you don't have that on hand, the rest of this stuff really is stuff I have on hand. So just use the dried and it's perfect. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to secure the lid. Now on this Presto, it is a little different. So there's a hole right here. If you can see that, this has to go in that hole and then this twists shut like that. So this is my pin and the pin will come up and it will make it that I can't open this because that pin will be up. So that's their extra safety feature. Okay, so on this one is one like we were talking about the other day that doesn't have the manual button like the Instapot brand does. So I'm going to go down. I like this because it kind of looks like Space Age. So I'm going to go down to the soup and see all these are just pre-programmed. They're guessing how long they think it's going to take. Okay.
And that one's 15 minutes. It says 21 on the picture.
Oh, it says 21.
It's inversed.
That's weird. Okay. But for this recipe, I don't want 15 minutes or my tortellini will be much, right? So on this Presto, I push this in the middle and then I turn this down to just 1 minute. Okay. So then I'm going to, on this one, I have to push the, the little play button. And I like this because it tells me that it's warming up. Okay, and then it will also tell me when it's under pressure. I need to make sure my thing's on sealing. So that is what this one's doing, and we're just going to kind of leave this alone. Okay, so Roy is still sauteing his. Go ahead. So don't worry, this isn't cross-contamination because they're not cooked anyways. We're going to put them back in. Okay. Any questions while Roy's doing that? Why don't you go ahead and type in or even unmute and tell me if you like these classes. Do you have any ideas for other ones? I'd love to hear them because I'd like to do them the way, what you guys would like to see. So. Okay.
Mary says that it's showing up properly on their end, only reversed on our end.
Oh, good. Okay. That's good to know. We're still newbies at this, so. Okay. Once this is done, we're gonna hit cancel. Then we're gonna add in the water and the chicken broth, and we're gonna add back in the chicken. Also, remember, we have to make sure, if you wanna bring the camera in here and see all these little brown bits in here. Again, we're gonna have to scrape those once we add in the water and the chicken stock, because we don't wanna get a burn message, okay? Okay. Oh, looks good, looks good. And then I've got this pot back here that's done up to this step. So once we add those in, this is gonna go and be cooked under pressure for about 10 minutes.
Linda says, can you substitute something for the heavy cream? The one thing that she doesn't have on hand.
Oh, I would think half and half. I would try even just milk and see how that works for this recipe. She's talking about the tortellini recipe. So I would try that. I do have a confession to make though. With this one, okay, this is such, Roy and I wanted to tell you how easy this recipe is. So here is, all I did, I had a rotisserie chicken. So we live pretty far from Costco. So whenever we go, we buy rotisserie chicken. I shred them. I put them in little baggies in the freezer for one cup baggies in the freezer. And so I just pulled that out, put the chicken stock in, the water in, and heated it up. I didn't even put this under pressure because it was already cooked. And I do that actually quite a bit because it saves a lot of time. So, so I'll just tell you, I'm a little cheater on that one. But boy, do you want to take this one, and you're going to scrape all these little brown bits, and I'm going to add in the chicken broth. Okay. So here goes the chicken broth. Now this is going to still be hot because it was on saute. Okay, so go ahead and scrape that so we get all those brown bits. Oh, don't splash it all over. There you go. And then we're going to add the water. And then Roy, do you want to add the chicken back in? Now, I swear, he talks all the time. He's not this quiet.
Non-stop talking.
No. So then take this, Roy, and you can add back in the chicken. And that one too. There you go. Okay, and just like the magic of television, I'm going to move this back here. So cameraman, if you want to follow me. I'm just going to use this pot instead. Okay, and I've got my little steam mate because this one is a quick release. Okay. So I have that on. I make sure it's on steam. And then Roy, you want to go ahead and push manual. Yes, push manual. And then go up to 10. Okay, now we're just going to leave that one, and that one's going to go. But we're going to continue on this one I did, my cheater one that I did with the rotisserie. And we'll show you what we're going to do next on this. Okay? I already made the eggs, and I have tried and tried and tried and tried to make, I've substituted, because this recipe says to make them on the stove top. So I have tried to make them in the Instant Pot, because I love to make eggs in there, and I can never get them to turn out the way they do in this recipe. So I'm kind of giving up on trying that. I've even done zero pressure and quick release, and I still can't get the yolk to be the way that, hopefully, fingers crossed, these ones turned out to be today. Okay, So I've already made the eggs. Those you just put water in, cold water, put it on your stovetop. Once it starts boiling, then you put the eggs in, and I always do extras because when I'm putting them in, sometimes, most of the time, every time, I break a few of the eggs. So I always make a lot more. But then cook them for 7 minutes, and then you put them in an ice bath for 5. Then you peel them, get the membrane, you know, I don't know how you describe it, the little pilly part. Yeah, the layer, okay, and get that off of it. All right, so I've already done that just so we can keep up. Now, once this is done, it will be a quick release. So let's fast forward and just think, okay, this one we're done and we did a quick release on, okay? All right, so I turned on the saute mode and we're just gonna wait for it to boil. All right, once it starts boiling, the reason we love this recipe too is it's really versatile. So these are those mini sweet peppers, and we love these in our house. And so we add these, you could add shrimp instead of the chicken, any kind of vegetable if you want, broccoli, anything like that. Yes, and Roy likes limes and everything. We love bok choy, and so this recipe for us is kind of perfect. So we're just gonna wait for that to boil. Once it does, that out. Okay, so once it does, then I've already added the chicken in there, okay, because I just dumped it in frozen. It was shredding. Okay, then we're gonna add in the ramen noodles. So what do we do with this, Roy? To make it healthy, do we put this in?
No.
So what do we do with this?
You can throw it away, or you can put it on stuff like garlic bread or mushrooms or french fries or anything like that.
He likes to make little croutons with it. He has a whole little ramen noodle cookbook, 2 of them, got for Christmas. So, for birthday. He loves it, so he can do it pretty well. All right, so once that's done, then we're gonna put in the noodles and we're gonna push them down to try to submerge them. See how they're a brick right now? Once they start to kind of come apart, then they're gonna be done. You don't wanna keep them in there any longer than that because then you'll be overcooking them, okay? But once these are done, then we can add in soy sauce. Now on your recipe, it talks about like the white parts of the white onions. I've made it both ways, and I pulled it out once, like the recipe tells you to put it in when you put in the chicken, and then you can pull these out and throw them away. But we like onions, so we just put them in at the end. So you can do them either way, okay? So once that's done, we're gonna add in the soy sauce, the sweet bell pepper, mini peppers, and then we're gonna add in our bok choy. And Roy, since we're waiting, why don't you go ahead, get a knife, and we'll see how these eggs are going. And we'll be done early tonight because these recipes, they're pretty quick. Okay, there you go. Hold the egg. Okay, get it? Look at that egg. Awesome. See how the whites are cooked, and then this is just like butter. My mouth's watering already. That's part of the reason we're getting done early, because we're going to eat this up. So now, are there any questions as we're going? These are such easy recipes that it's not going to take us a ton of time tonight. Oh, another thing. So as soon as these are done, we want to actually use our mitts and pull this out because it will continue to cook in here, okay? So we're gonna wanna set it here when those are done and out. Now, what do you guys think about these eggs? Do you think, I know at first, because my husband's kind of picky about his eggs, and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't think he's gonna like those, but he really does like them. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like them, but I don't think I can go back to the other way now. I kind of love them that way, so.
Mary wants to know if the recipe was in the email and that she loves the Instant Pot.
It should, Mary, it should be on that Facebook page. If you didn't get it, if any of you didn't get it, let me know. You can even, I think we have figured out how to see the chat. So I can even, if you want to put your email in there, I can see it there. So I just added this as a bonus recipe, which I'm actually glad I did because this one doesn't take much time at all. Where are we at on that? Oh, so that one's still warming up. Now this one, once it warms up, then we've got a 3-minute natural release. That means we're letting it come down from pressure on its own. And then we can take our spoon and flip the valve. So we're spurting that stuff out to get the rest of the pressure out because we don't want to overcook that tortellini, okay? Here. Anybody have any questions? Anybody want to unmute and give us any suggestions for future classes?
Mary says she saw this on Eventbrite, she thinks. And what's the Facebook? She said,
Oh, so, okay. I will, let's see. Mary, why don't you put your email, if you're okay with that, in the chat.
she just posted the group on there.
If you're okay putting your email in there, then I can send it to you. But I'm glad you saw it on Eventbrite. Because Eventbrite isn't allowing me to upload PDFs. And so I tried to take a picture of the recipe and it was not good. So I started just emailing it. So I'm glad that you saw us there. I didn't go over all of the accessories and how to clean it this time just because we did that last week. So hopefully we're all good on that aspect of it. So this now is boiling. So if you want camera guy to come show them. Yeah. Camera guy. AKA my husband. Okay, so Roy is going to take these, put them in. Right on each other. Okay, now push them down with the spoon. Okay, so like I said, we're just trying to get this block to loosen up a little bit. And then as soon as it is, we're going to get it out of there. Okay? Any questions, any suggestions for future classes? Another thing, so this cream is going in the tortellini. When you get better acquainted with your electric pressure cooker, your Instapot, whatever, you'll be able to tell recipes that are good recipes and recipes that aren't really good. You don't want to add cream and have it be under pressure because it will like curdle. It just won't be good. So whenever you're adding it, with the exception of if you're making like a cheesecake and you're putting sour cream or something like that in there, then it's okay under pressure. But I mean, like heavy cream, usually you add that after the pressure is out and you add it at the end. So you kind of cook, like saute at the beginning and then you saute again at the end when it comes to recipes like this. Same with this one. Okay, so this looks like it's done. Want to take those, Roy? So it doesn't take this long at all. Do you see how those noodles are just coming right apart? So Roy's gonna take that, just the inner liner out and set it right here. Okay, good. Now, soy sauce, add as much to your liking. So Roy's gonna add that. Start little and then add more if you want. But this is, just go ahead and add that whole thing. Add in half of these onions because we're going to save half for the other bunch. So just pour half in. Over it. There you go. And then pour in half of these. Can't tell, my family really loves onions because I think Roy just ate some even. Just to show you how much we make this recipe, this is the soy sauce that I just opened like 2 weeks ago, not too long ago. So we make this recipe, we make it a lot, and we really like it. So Roy is going to add half the bok choy. We're going to add a little more of this. Okay. Bok choy. I mean, I can eat this stuff plain. It's like candy. I love it. So if you haven't tried it, bok choy, try it because it's wonderful. That's good right there. Now go ahead and stir that. Okay. Good. That looks good. Okay, so Roy here is going to get his bowl and he's going to dish them up some. So you guys can, no, use the ladle. So you guys can see what it looks like. And clearly he's getting a lot of noodles versus some of the soup. I actually, for me, the broth is kind of the best part. I mean, I like the noodles too, but feel free to get creative with this recipe. I mean, I would think you could do beef. You could, you could do non-meat, anything. It could be however you want to get creative with that. Now he's going to add, you're going to add that, some broth. And set it right here so they can see what it looks like. And there's his egg. So there's that. He's already ready to eat, I can tell. But what do you guys think about this? That's something you'd want to try?
See, Mary says she's never tried pot and pot dishes. That could be a good class. Or egg bites using the bundt pan. Lisa Bell said, I would like to learn how to make cakes, cheesecakes, desserts in the Instant Pot.
My favorites, our favorites.
Roxanne says yogurt.
Okay.
Sherry says camping recipes. Mary says yogurt is great, so thick and you can flavor it how you like it, much healthier. And also,
really, it's easy. It's not hard, really.
And she says also you can also use canned chicken, frozen vegetables, really whatever you like.
Yeah. Yeah, so versatile, okay? Let's see where we're at with this one. Perfect. Okay. So now this one just kicked it to the keep warm setting. It's counting up. So once this gets to 3, then we're going to flip it. Or you can go ahead and eat. He's just biting at the chomp to have some of that food. So we'll wait for that. Oh, I was going to show you this. This is the trivet that comes with the Presto. That's the only thing that I'm not totally impressed with because, I mean, it's kind of flimsy. So I wanted to show you that. And this one, again, like I told you, if you were on last week, I really like the trivets with the handles because when they don't have them, I'm using those little mitts to get it out. And I'm burning my arm all along the side. So I prefer the ones with the handles. And I do know like Bella, there's some, and I know Bella probably has some that has them and some that doesn't. Some of them don't come with trivets. You can use canning jar lids, just something to keep the water out, because that would be about the same height as this one is. So be creative. If you you can buy them as well for fairly cheap. But if yours doesn't come with one, think of things like that, okay? Okay. So once this one is done, then we're gonna add in our Parmesan cheese. And the recipe calls for ½ a cup, but we always add a little bit more. So use your own advice on that one. And then we're going to put in the heavy whipping cream. But like I said, I really think if you just wanted to put milk, it might not thicken up as much. It might be a little more liquidy, but if it tastes okay. But I have not tried that. So Okay, so any other questions before our final minute is up on waiting for this? No? Yeah, I feel like this class is like quick, but these are the kind of meals that I love for weeknights. These are fast, quick. We're getting to fall, well, we are at fall, and even though it's, at least here in Idaho, it's still pretty hot. But I'm the type of girl that can eat soup year round. I love it. So
Judy says, what's the ratio of dry basil for fresh basil?
oh, that's a good question. I just sprinkle it in and taste it. But I would think like it would probably be a tablespoon to each. Half cup would be my guess. So that would be my guess. And I've done both ways, and both are equally good. So okay, so I think we're about at 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to use this because I don't want to burn myself. And actually, I need to move this so it's not going to ruin my cabinet. Normally, you probably want to move it first. But, okay. Here's my steam. This to me too is a really good guest dish because it's quick, but it tastes really good. So it kind of tastes like it took you a long time when it really didn't. So that's part of the reason I like this one too. But do you see how that valve right here is up? So see, you for safety features, that green one right here, you can't flip it open. So I do like that. Although each one of these have safety features. Mary, did you put your email in there?
She did.
Okay, good. Otherwise, I would put mine in so you could email me. And when I email you the recipes, I'll also email you the Facebook site because there's some live videos on there. There's some files, so you just hear the pin drop. So that one just dropped. There's some files for other classes, all of those type of things. So. But make sure that if you join or if you're inviting your friends to join, there's one question and all it asks is if you own an electric pressure cooker. If you don't, you can put no. If you do, you can list it. But I do that to keep the spammers out. So make sure that if you're inviting friends, tell them they need to answer that or I won't accept them, okay? Okay, so we're gonna open this. Can you see that? Okay, then we're gonna add in heavy cream. And then here's my 1.5-ish cup of Parmesan cheese. And feel free to sprinkle some of that on top when you dish it up too. And there's that. And that's it. So these are my, maybe that would be another idea for classes or these quick weeknight meals because these electric pressure cookers really make that so easy.
Kat says that she thinks it's 1/3 dry to fresh.
Okay, good.
She would love something hearty, lime, a casserole, or maybe potato au gratin.
Oh, maybe we could do a lasagna. Anybody like something like that?
And Linda says, tastes just fine with milk instead of cream, just don't get thick.
Okay.
Or just didn't get thick.
Okay, good. That would be my guess, is it wouldn't kind of thicken it up. Yes, Roy?
Can you make ice cream in the Instant Pot?
No. No. But it's worth a shot, huh? But anything that you can make, like banana bread, you can proof bread in these, bread dough. So like there's all kinds of things you can do. But I know this is kind of a short one tonight, but we got 2 meals in less than 35 minutes. And so to me, that's what these are made for. That's kind of why I love them. So any other questions?
They also said lasagna would be fun.
Yeah, lasagna. I think that would be fun to do. Maybe that could be included in like our pot and pot meals. I made some meatloaf and potatoes in pot and pot, and that would be another fun one. I was teaching a class and I was browning the bacon on the saute mode, and I went outside and I smelled like bacon, and all the neighborhood dogs were following me around, and I was like, shoo, go away. So just keep in mind, you might really smell good. Maybe that's like perfume for your husband or something like that too. So it's a bonus, I guess. But if there's no other questions, I really appreciate you guys meeting with us for this series of classes. I know I speak for Julie and myself when I said how fun it was for us to be able to put these on, and we're thankful to have technology that we can, because of Corona, we can teach classes and still at least attempt to interact with each other, even if it is virtually.
Kat says, can you do chili and cornbread pot and pot?
Chili and cornbread, yeah, I think you would, because you would do chili on the bottom, then you would put the stand in, and then you'd put your cooking vessel, your oven-safe cooking, and make your cornbread on top. You would just have to make sure that the time would be about the same. I haven't tried that. That's something I could play with, though. That's a good idea. I like that idea. So, yeah.
And she says, love this. Thank you for doing these classes.
Thank you guys. And thanks for coming into our house. And we hope that you made these in your house and it made your house smell as good as ours. So tell everybody bye, Roy.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.